Welcome back, everyone, to Newington, Connecticut and Callahan's Bowl-O-Rama. We're here for our champions interview with the great Alex Aguiar. Alex, what a match. You treated everybody to. I'll tell you, the live stream was going nuts. People were watching that match.
Awesome.
I think we got up to almost 300 at one time.
We
I
were
was
over
kind of
300.
peaking.
We
Yeah,
were over
that's the most we've had in a long time.
I'm glad everybody got to see 9 out in the 10th frame.
Well, what were you thinking? I mean, you were. I know you took off your wristband. I think you thought that you were pretty much done,
I just
right?
really thought the kid would, I mean, it's never easy, especially when it's your first title, but the kid's been bowling good all day. I knew he wasn't going to miss the pocket.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he
it was
won
just
the non-champs. That would have been his second
Oh,
title.
yeah. My fault.
He never won a full field.
Yeah,
with him,
but it was, I don't know, it was more just the disappointment of missing a 10-pin in that spot. And that's just the lack of me not bowling. And I told Danny, he said, I wiped my spare ball for the first time ever.
And then it hooked.
And it checked up on me, and I threw the ball, and I'm like, why the hell
Let
did
that be
you
a lesson. Let that
like,
be a lesson.
I've never wiped my spare ball in my life, and for some odd reason
so
in the 10th frame, I thought it was a good idea to wipe my spare ball.
That's so
It's like
funny.
it was my first time there. I'm brain fart.
So I noticed you had a couple of really good tactical decisions. You did not practice much on the title pair.
I didn't practice except the 3 shots on each lane.
Okay, because you didn't want to carve up, because
Nope.
the heads are scratchy. You didn't want to see any more.
No, I wasn't
early
trying to
hook.
force myself left, and then, you go bowl for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you don't bowl on it again for another hour.
Right.
I figured it would be pot luck at that point, and I'd take my chances on the dead fresh.
Did you expect it to be a little tougher on the left? Did you expect Dennis to come back with that 6 or 7 bagger? I mean, because after the 3 guys throwing urethane, you know what I'm saying?
No, I just think that, I mean, the left was pretty good all day. I mean, the scores show that.
You took down 3 lefties in the step ladder.
Lone right hope. I said that all day. I'm a lone right hope.
So Gordon Oliver kept repeating that on the live stream.
So, I'm happy it came out in that direction, but, I just didn't think it was in my best interest to go practice for 10 minutes and let the pair sit for an hour.
A really good decision there. So it's interesting when you got up and struck on the winning ball, you had not struck in your last 9 shots.
Was it that many?
You missed the pocket once, and you broke up that baby split for a 3-pin.
Yeah.
And other than that, you had all 9s. You had that stone 8, stone 9, 4-pin, ring 10, another 4-pin. It just was crazy, and you finally got to struck.
Yeah, that shot, I said I'm just going to move in a couple, and I'm going to hit it harder. I'm going to do what I do best, and going to try to knock them all down in that one shot. And I expected him, honestly, after I left the 4-pin, I expected him to strike. Like, I always anticipate my opponent striking.
Yeah.
I don't take for granted that they're not going to strike. So, leave that, and his look was good, and he stoned 9s or 8s or whatever he did and gave me an opportunity.
He had that stone 8 with that messenger come across and not hit it.
It's one of those lucky ones, I guess. I'm not disappointed with taking it. Worked hard all day. And
you really dominated with 270, 300 in the middle of the match play.
Yeah, it was a good little run.
You also went off the sheet the position round game to hold your lead. To keep
I knew I needed it. Once Aaron opened in the 9th frame, and I knew it. I knew that Dennis, if I finished second on the pair, Dennis was going to have to beat me. I forgot what the number was. But I knew I needed that second one in the 10th.
The second one, and you end up getting them only by 8.
Yeah, I knew I needed the second one.
Mark,
so, I mean, I was, I had a little fist pump after the second one in that frame because I knew I needed it.
Well, you stuffed
so,
it,
at least I threw a good one there. I couldn't make a 10-pin, but, whatever.
Well, that's great. And, guys, it's the roads are getting bad. We're going to keep this pretty short.
Super short.
We all want to get on the road. But anybody you want to thank? Strike FX. What's going on?
Well, I thank my ball driller at Strike FX Pro Shops. Yours truly. I'll thank myself there. But no, the guys at Storm. All the sponsors here at NEBA. We can't do it without the sponsors here. I'm thankful for each and every single one of them. But my guys down in Utah never seem to let us down with the equipment they keep producing. And
you were throwing the X2 today, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a mainstay in my bag. It's definitely a nice piece, and especially when you get the fronts here where they hook, but there's still, you need that big core in the back part of the lane.
Right.
Still gets through the front part of the lane pretty good without going sideways, which is always a bonus.
Yep. The X2 does that so much better than the X1.
Yeah, I mean, the other ones,
X1 reads earlier.
it's earlier and lopey. Earlier and lopey, which I didn't see much of, the big balls on the right side that could go down the lane. I didn't see, the realities and balls of that nature. Right. The fronts just hook too much, and then if you use too much surface with too much ball, forces you too far left and around the pattern. So I found a little bit of hold, and I tried to stay in that kind of zone all day long. But there's some guys that you can see, some really good guys that once they got in and had to get around that spot, it really didn't do it. So it was just kind of my plan was to stay in that little small window. And if I had to, I would have balled down. I had a Wolverine that looked good, too. That was in the back of my mind if they got a little crispy up front. But my plan wasn't going to deviate much. It was just going to be those 2 bowling balls for the
How did you have that X2 drill? Because it was reading perfectly. Right
it's
before
like,
the end of the pattern, it would pick up.
It's like 5 it's 5 inches from my pap. The mass bias is a touch right. So for me, it's like 60 by 5 and an eighth or something like that.
Okay.
But typical.
So save some energy, but arcing,
typical,
nothing crazy. Yeah.
typical layout that I put on a lot of my stuff. You know, I drill a lot of my stuff the same. I have my favorite pin up, my favorite pin down, and then like maybe 1 or 2 balls that are like specialty balls.
Yeah.
I don't deviate too much from, you know, what I like to drill. I know what shapes I like to see, and
If it works, don't change it.
if I put holes in it and it's my favorite layout, if I put holes in it and the ball doesn't roll good in my favorite layout, you know, I'm not going to force a bowling ball.
Never going to work, right.
There's too many bowling balls on the market that are available, and they just keep coming out with more.
Yep.
I'm super
From all
excited.
the companies? From
All of them, everybody.
Yep.
But you know, from our side, I'm really excited for this Spectre that's coming. I've been able to throw that thing. I threw it in league Friday night, and I'm pretty.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You know,
I'm a roto staffer. I'll be watching
that
baby.
Spectre's pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, the
Yeah.
Nova's very strong, but you know, they come out with a lot of good pieces, and they allow us to a lot of different shapes from a lot of different parts of the lane, which I'm very thankful that they've had me on staff for many years now.
I saw a lot of altered realities go today.
That's
Same idea.
That's a good ball,
you know,
but that ball's stronger. Yeah, but to me, it's faster off the friction.
Yeah.
So if I didn't want super fast off the friction, and I think that the altered would have been too much. That just stayed in the car.
Yeah.
That didn't even make its way in the
So
building.
it just saved too much energy. And
Yeah, I
too
mean,
hard off
and
the
again,
friction,
like with the fronts being so quick, like the RST gets through a lot cleaner than an altered for me.
Yeah.
And I need it to get through that front 15, 18 feet without it checking up, and I just think that the altered would have checked up early for me. That's good for the guys with the softer hands. I think if you got a softer hand, you could have used that ball.
Yeah.
Saw a couple of them go down the lane today, but the big rev rate guys, it's hard to throw the big ASIMs unless to me, that was the only one that in my head that I could have thrown. That or maybe a UC.
Too wild off
Even
the
the
spot,
UC2 would have been too sharp off a spot. Like that ball's faster.
Yeah.
X2 is really a nice piece.
Well, it's funny, you know, you look at these lane surfaces in New England, and there's a million games bowled here, obviously, with the salt and the sand and everything, and it carves up the fronts, you know. So you
aside
see so
from
much of that here,
Wamaset, well, maybe Lowell because they flooded and they had to put new lanes in. But I don't think there's a lane surface newer than 20 years. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think there's a lane surface that's newer than 20 years in New England.
If we went back to Shrewsbury, you'd find new glow lanes there, and AMF has done that in a few houses, but most of them are scratched up like this. 20 years, 25, you know, whatever.
20 years, and then you get surfaces like this where it's kind of all one level, so any dust kind of, you know, gets out there in little pebbles because the weather sucks in New England half the time.
Yep.
So you get that little stuff on the lane, little stuff gets on there, and it just beats them up a little bit. But
you can sometimes hear the friction in the front. You hear the ball scrape its way through the
Oh,
front
there's
of the
some.
lane.
I mean, after you freshly oil them and you really take a look, you know, Providence has a few pairs where after you, more than a few pairs, but after they oil them in Providence, you can see the scratches. But again, same deal. You have that one level like here where it's just it's handicap accessible the whole way here.
Yep.
So that stuff gets on the lanes, and you know they do it. I'm sure all these centers they do a good job of cleaning, but there's still a certain amount of stuff that's going to get on the lane.
Yeah, every time the front door opens, the wind blows. And
There's going to be stuff. So
title number 26, we had Anthony Pepe just moved in the number 4 spot at 14 titles. And he's chasing Bill Webb.
He's moving on up, too.
He's moving on up. You continue to chase Lich. I know I ask you about this every time you win.
Yeah, it was still a long way to go.
Still there, long way to go.
Long way to go.
5 out. He's at 31.
And by the way, for Alex's
trucking.
friends back home,
trucking.
we're not in East Providence today.
No, we're not. We'll be there. We'll be there soon. Though.
I know they like. I know they like to tease you about it, but we all know you're tough everywhere. But
that's not.
I know it's been a running joke for a long time.
That's always.
We ain't there today. We ain't there today.
That's all it is.
No,
of course it is. Everybody knows, but it's
whatever.
I
don't mind the abuse. From
I
them.
just want to remind them that we are not there today. So
no, we're here, and this place is great.
And you got the
I'm pretty
Chiefs.
happy. I got the title, and I have my first ever 300 pin from this place. So
I saw that.
They gave me a nice
I saw
pin.
that.
I had $2.99 in this building twice, and I've always wanted that stupid pin.
Well, get that Callahan signature on there.
Well, he's not here anymore. Maybe
Fred's in Florida.
Freddie's watching, and allow me to ship it to him, and he can send it back to me signed.
Fred, we need you, buddy. We'll,
well, I'll tell you what, though.
After the fact.
Even in the absence of Fred, they did a great job here today. This place is clean. It looks great.
I didn't see any breakdowns. I don't think it won.
No, I mean the machines real. Yep, I didn't see a 180. I didn't see any of that today. I mean, the place runs well. It's clean. Yep. Bowled all these games. I haven't washed my hands yet. They're still clean. They're not all black, which a lot of times you bowl, your hands are black. So kudos to them for doing such a great job here. It's been here a long time, and
many generations.
They've been hosting NEBA here many years.
I bowled JBT here 30-something years ago.
It used to be 24 hours here, and now
we used to bowl Action at the Meadows, and they closed there, and we come over here at 2 or 3 in the
Meadows
morning.
was what, like Hartford area,
right? In the Hartford area,
right by the Highlight. Right by the Highlight. So they closed the Meadows, and we come here and we bowl.
I think I only remember bowling
that
one
was
NEBA.
Fair Lanes, right, Meadows? Is that a Fair
It
Lanes?
was eventually.
Yeah.
It was just the Meadows, before that. So or we'd go to Berlin Bowl and bowl Action, and the New York guys would come up and close that out, and then we come over here.
Yeah.
So, again, 24 hours. So
it was. I think this place and Boston Bowl are the only 2 bowling centers that I know of in New England that are 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
I know if they still are. I think
they're not here.
I think they might have. They finally gave up the ghost here.
Well, I was talking to the manager, and and they said that with insurance premiums, they jacked up the insurance. They would have jacked up the insurance premium on them for being open after a certain time because thefts at that time.
Yeah. Like that. Interesting.
So it really wasn't worth it for the business that they do at 2 o'clock in the morning to pay the extra premium. So makes sense. Just a business decision. And with all this whole, Corona mess, I don't know many people that are coming out at 2 or 3 in the morning. But then again, it might be the good time to come bowl.
They may not be coming out at all, but you're right. That's right.
It might be the safest if you're worried about it. It's the safest time to come bowl 3 o'clock in the morning, I guess.
So. Anyway, the roads are getting icy. We'll let you hit the road. Alex,
I appreciate
thank you so much for a great show, as usual. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are the greatest. It's so much fun watching you.
Litch is somewhere in there. That's the goat.
I'm
trying to get there.
Litch might have ran out into traffic when the Rams lost. He might not be here anymore.
Yeah. They're still in the playoffs.
I know.
Yeah, they got a great record. So anyway,
he still yells
at
the TV on every play.
That's all right, though.
Anyway, so, I'm sure the folks are thanking you for a great show, as usual.
Well, I'm sure I got some text messages and whatnot. I had a couple text messages after I bowled 300. I didn't answer them because I try not to really pay attention to my phone. But, kind of watching the football scores in week 18 here. So.
Well, watch the road on the way home. I think it might
That's
be a
the plan.
Bit squirrely,
maybe I'll make Kevin drive.
We all got rides. We all got 2-hour rides, right, back to Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm all of 2 hours. Yeah. All of 2 hours from here. So.
A little less, but close enough.
Yeah, close enough. And I got to stop at Ryan's on my way home and bring dinner to the family. That's my job. So,
can bring me dinner, pal. I'll take some.
All right, there you go, Alex Aguiar.
Well, thank you,
sir. Number 26. Congratulations,
guys.
Winning the Cambridge.
Thank you for all. Right. And Chris Viali, sorry we missed you today, but thank you a million times over for sponsoring this event. And
get well soon, sir.
Cambridge has been a major sponsor of this, this organization for a long time. And
we had Gordon Oliver on every round.
Yeah, I saw Gordon earlier.
He was giving us some great stuff, great info and background and stuff like that. That was great. I just want to thank Danny and Becky. Debbie was here today. Dave Kipperman on the software. Thank you, Gas. Thanks to the Callahan, the entire
I will say that software that they have now for NEBA is like...
the live scoring's great.
Yeah.
Dear PBA, pay attention to how NEBA does it. You might learn something. Just saying. Well, sorry.
Let's have a quick chat after this. So,
Not sorry. Sorry. Just saying.
Not sorry. All right, guys. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And we will catch you at Circle Lanes January 28th and 29th. Be there or be square. Take care, everybody.